Drop a like and do share. Leave your comments and do not forget to subscribe for more videos.
What's up, guys? This is Manoj Puprani. I welcome you all on behalf of the Edupedia world. Perfect, guys. It's the 5th video presentation and I'm going to discuss some of the more relevant topics with you all relating to the topic of investigation and due diligence. So are you guys all set? Perfect. Fasten up your seatbelts. We're about to take off with the first topic of the day, and that will be the instances of frauds in supplier's ledger and ways of investigating them. So what all can be depicted or maybe mentioned as a few of the instances wherein you can find out some of the frauds in supplier's ledger and how you as an auditor need to investigate them. This question has already been asked twice in CA final examination for May 2009 and 2011. So what does basically fraud in supplier ledger basically can take the forms of? Let's understand that. So guys, let's be very clear with this fact that if I'm talking about supplier's ledger only, so the frauds on this particular front will be a bit limited as compared to the other frauds. Okay. So the major frauds in this particular thing that is called supplier's ledger would be that the person who is basically going to take up fraud or complete it, he or she is going to record a few of the fictitious or duplicate invoices as purchases in the supplier accounts. Let's suppose you have supplier Ram. Okay, Ram provided you a few of the goods and you booked the same as your purchase for rupees 100. However, that accountant fraudulently recorded that transaction for 100 plus 100 twice. Okay, so he recorded fictitious or duplicate invoices. He basically marked the entry twice. Why? Because certainly you know that you are supposed to pay back to the Ram rupees 200. Why? Because your books are showing that. But he, being the accountant, he knows that Mr. Ram is just entitled to get an amount of 100 in consideration to what he has sold to you. So that 100 will be recorded as the fictitious or duplicate invoice. So that is going to hit the supplier's ledger as in case of fraud. Number 2, suppressing the credit notes issued by the supplier. Let's suppose there are chances wherein the supplier may issue credit note later on. Okay. However, that accountant does not take those credit notes and doesn't book the debit notes in the books of accounts. So he or she in that particular case is going to suppress the credit notes, and which is going to affect your supplier's ledger, wherein you are not supposed to pay anything back to the supplier. This suppression of credit note will make you eligible to pay even if you were not entitled to do so. Number 3, withdrawing the amounts unclaimed by suppliers. There is a possibility that Ram went bankrupt. Okay, and somehow since he was not able to pay back anything to his or her creditors in that particular stuff, there are chances that Ram won't turn to your place anytime. Okay, and the amount which Ram was supposed to receive from your end, he may not definitely come back to you, your place, in order to receive that amount. So now what's this particular accountant is going to do? He is just going to withdraw that amount which has been remained unclaimed by Ram from his supplier's ledger and will keep the same in his or her pocket. Okay, and they'll tell you that boss, Ram came in and we have paid the amount back to Ram which was due to him. But actually that's not going to be the case. So this is the third prominent fraud in the supplier's ledger, that is withdrawing the amounts unclaimed by suppliers. And finally, it's about accepting the purchase invoices at higher than the market prices. You went to some of the stationery shops and you got a Parker pen outside. Okay, and the printed price was just merely 100 rupees. Okay, however, you accepted the bill from that particular vendor as rupees 150. Okay, so you are fraudulently accepting the purchase invoices at a higher prices. Why? Because you will be able to book purchases at a higher volume in your books. So that is again a case of fraud because you are not doing something on arm's length basis. That is one such thing which is again going to be covered under fraud in supplier's ledger. So these are some of the most prominent examples which I have just briefed you of. Okay, with a kind of different stories. I hope you guys got a complete clarity with respect to each and every example that I delivered to you. Now, what will be your role as an auditor if you need to investigate? So, as far as the investigation point of view is concerned, so you need to have a thorough knowledge about these following things. Number one, system of internal controls. So guys, first of all, you need to examine that system of internal controls which is in place in that organization in relation to purchases, and you need to identify the possibilities of collusion with supplier or circumvention of those controls. That is the only place wherein you'll be able to get an overall idea that whether there are some certain kind of chances wherein the supplier's ledger and other things are going to hit badly. Okay. Number two is purchase journal. So you need to vouch that purchase journal by reference to entries in the goods inward book and the supplier's invoices. So herein you'll be able to get an overall idea about the quantity which has been inserted in the goods inward book and how much quantity has been actually been available in the supplier invoices. Supplier is saying that he was able to provide you, let's say 100 number of quantities, okay, and in your goods inward book you are mentioning it as 150. Then again you are booking something at a higher volume which doesn't actually is appearing in the books of accounts. So this is number two, vouch the purchase journal by reference to those entries in the goods inward book and the supplier invoices. Number three is the amounts credited. So confirm that the amounts which have been credited to the accounts of supplier were in respect of the goods which were duly received and the supplier's account have been credited correctly. Now this is something very relevant. Okay, supposedly Mr. Ram has been you in your books of accounts you credited Mr. Ram that now Mr. Ram is eligible to receive 100 rupees from your end. Why? Because they have provided you the goods without knowing the fact that the goods have not actually been received by your end. That's still not available at your premises and you're already booked that you're supposed to pay Ram rupees 100. Now you made the payment. Let's suppose that accountant was involved in that particular case. He made the payment and you never ever did you receive the goods from that site. So you need to ensure and confirm to the books that the amount which has been credited to the accounts of supplier were in respect of the goods which were duly received, and accordingly the supplier's accounts have been credited correctly. That is number three. Number four, allowances and rebates. So you need to request a statement of accounts from all the suppliers to see whether or not any balance is outstanding or due, so as to confirm that the allowances and the rebates which have been given by them have been correctly adjusted or not. So again, this is something which needs to be done from your end as an investigator, or I should say better as an auditor. So you need to check the system of internal controls, you need to check the purchase journal, you need to check the amounts which have been credited, you need to check the allowances and rebates. I'm sure that you guys got the complete clarity with respect to each and every aspect that I shared with you guys about the instances of frauds in the supplier's ledger and the different ways of investigating them. Shall we proceed further, guys? Perfect. Let's move towards the next topic, and that will be how will you investigate frauds in maintaining the customer's ledger. Now, in my last slide, I just shared with you about something related to supplier's ledger. Now, we'll understand how will you investigate the frauds while you move and proceed towards customer's ledger now. So guys, frauds in the customer's ledger can take the following forms. Okay. Number one, teaming and lading method. So what does this teaming and lading method actually mean? If I'll have to tell you with an example, so that will be if in case you are misappropriating one of the amount which has been collected from a customer and you're crediting his account by the amount paid by him later when the amount subsequently collected from another customer, and you are repeating this practice several times, collecting and depositing back to the amount back into the account. Again you are doing the same thing. So you are just basically misappropriating those assets before the close of the year. This is something which will be called as teaming and lading. Guys, that's the meaning of that. So you are just mishandling and misappropriating the amount which is being collected from one customer and crediting the same with another customer. This process is going to be repeated. That's why you must have heard about this thing, entry business. So that is the same thing which happens over here itself. So teaming and lading is one of the simple inclusion of that format over here itself. Number two is misappropriating the amount which has been collected from the customer and subsequently adjusting his account by crediting the amount on account of allowance or a rebate for excess price charged. Now this is something which is very relevant. You have received something from the customer. Okay, supposedly Ram is your customer. You receive 100 rupees from Ram. Now in the books of accounts you are showing that you have paid a rebate or an allowance to Ram of rupees 20. However, in reality you never provided any kind of discount to Ram. You asked for rupees 100 in consideration of the goods and he duly paid them. Okay. However, as per your books of accounts, you have already charged that you were able to collect merely 80 rupees. I mean, that's something which will be done by your accountant. Okay. So this will be one of the areas in relation to customer's ledger fraud, misappropriating the amount which has already been collected from the customer and recording it for something which hasn't been actually taken place. Number 3 is crediting the amount received from customer to the account of another customer. You received something from Ram and you credited the account of Sham. Is this a legal and an ethical practice? Absolutely not. That is something which is absolutely unethical. Okay. Crediting the amount which has been received from one customer to the account of another customer and subsequently withdrawing the amount which has been wrongly credited. So this is something usually which is very common in many of the small Lala type firms wherein this thing is usually happening. Okay, these are some of the ways wherein frauds may be done while maintaining the customer's ledger. Now, what you need to do as far as your auditing is concerned, if you want to investigate into the matters, what you'll do. Number 1, you need to pay a special attention. Special attention to what, sir? Pay special attention to all the kind of allowances which are being adjusted on account of goods returned or there is a price difference. There might be a chance that actually there was no price difference. However, in order to adjust in your books of accounts, you just provided them. Okay, and supposedly there might be another chance wherein the goods returned. You're showing that goods have been returned. However, in reality, goods were never returned. Okay, this is something very crucial. So you need to pay very special attention to all those allowances adjusted. Number 2, you need to scrutinize. You need to scrutinize the amounts which are written off as bad debts. Actually, bad debts has happened or not. There might be a possibility you have received rupees 100 from Ram. Ram was your customer. However, in your books of accounts, you have shown that amount which was supposed to be received from Ram is being categorized and written off as bad debts now. So, this is something very crucial. Do not allow anybody to turn a good debt into a bad debt. Okay, so this thing needs to be done. You need to scrutinize the amounts which are written off as bad debt. Number 3 is the account of customers having been debited properly or not. Confirm that the account of customers have been debited properly in respect of the goods which are supplied to them. There should not be any kind of mismatch in that. Number 4 is compare the entries in the order book with those in the sales day book. Check if in case the order which was placed by the client, the customer, are we able to provide them the same amount of quantity or not? Check that thing. That is very much important. The person was able to provide you a purchase order of let's say 1000 quantities and you are providing them the sale of let's say 1100 out and not merely just 1000. So herein it's a clear feature that if in case the person who is against that organization, the person with whom we are going to do that particular transaction, we need to ensure that the PO that he or she, that company has raised on us, are we providing them the quantity which is more than that their PO or not? Because that is something which is just not genuine. Okay, the person asked you for 1000 quantities and you are showing that you have delivered to them 1100. That's just not possible, believe me. So you need to check that. You need to compare the entries in the order book with those of the sales day book. Number 5, you need to obtain the confirmation from customers in respect of the amounts standing in their accounts. You need to obtain those confirmations. That's extremely important as far as your auditing is concerned. Your account may be showing that you are supposed to receive rupees 1000 from Ram, and if in case you do complete your confirmation with your customer, that is Mr. Ram may end up telling you up that dude, I was just supposed to pay rupees 500 to them. I am just not aware of the fact why they are charging me 1000 rupees in their books of accounts. So we need to obtain those confirmation from the customers in order to obtain whether the amount which is standing in their accounts is appropriate or not. And lastly, confirmation of the statement of accounts from the customer. So you need to obtain the confirmation of statement of accounts from customer with nil balances by sending them their accounts for ascertaining that the entries shown therein were actually genuine or not. These are the various ways with which you as an auditor can investigate into the matters. I hope I was able to deliver you up with each and every kind of proper example wherein your knowledge is going to get increased. I hope I was able to provide you a complete clarity with respect to this topic. So perfect guys, do revise your topics because that's something which is extremely important. I'll be concluding my video with a dose of motivation, and that will be, it's a fabulous country. The only fabulous country. It is the only place where miracles not only happen, but they happen all the time. Thomas Wolfe was the person who mentioned this beautiful quote. And with this, I'll say thank you on behalf of the Edipedia world. Keep interacting via questions, queries, and YouTube comment boxes. I will love to answer each one of your queries and answers. Stay connected guys, that will help us in understanding your needs way better. If in case you liked our video, do give us a thumbs up and provide us the positive comments so that our motivation boost will go to the next level. Perfect guys, I'll see you in the next presentation with a lot more exciting topics. Till then, sayonara, good night, God